That hamster Dandisha Squire made me watch the animated Flashpoint movie the other day, and I thought I'd give it a bit of praise since I had yet to consume a Flash project that I overall enjoy.
It's actually a Justice League project. It's literally in the title.
I'm assuming to the DC consumer veterans, you've already spotted what was adapted from this Flashpoint movie into the 2023 Flash movie From a Mile Away. But this was my first time watching the Flashpoint movie, because I only consume mature content for adults. And can you tell me why the portal closes so fast after they jumped in, but it stayed open for 17 fucking seconds in the throne room? So, because I just hopped off the hate train for the 2023 Flash movie, I thought I'd point out the similar plot points and characters and highlight why they were executed so much better in the Flashpoint movie, probably to no one's surprise. The movie begins with a young Barry upset because he and Mom Barry are having car trouble in the middle of nowhere and were ignored by a passerby. This prompts Mom Barry to say the theme of the movie.
You can't change other people. Accept the things you cannot change. Have the courage to change the things you can. And have the wisdom to know the difference.
A theme similar to not every problem has a solution, sometimes you just have to let go, only Flashpoint actually makes it relevant to the situation that prompted said theme. So if we were to have a scoreboard, it'd be awarded a point, and we haven't even reached the first minute. Not that the bar is remotely high or anything. We then cut to another day where Barry is running home from school only to find his home trashed and his mom dead. No one knows who did it, nor are there suspects. As it appears, Dad Barry is not a part of their lives. He's nowhere to be seen, and Nora is only referred to as a mother, so there's no chance of an unlikely setup to lock up Henry, unlike the Flash. See, kids? Sometimes good can come from Daddy never returning with the milk. We get a bigger time skip to Barry as an adult, visiting his mom's grave with Iris. He still blames himself for his mom's murder, attributing it to not running home fast enough that day. Things could have gone differently had he been present. So clearly, he has yet to go through an arc and accept his tragedy, and he seemingly doesn't have any rules regarding speed limits or time travel, making this Barry understandably susceptible to undoing it. Can't say the same about the Flash. Barry gets a call about a break-in at the Flash Museum, which turns into a battle between him and the Rogues, and it's actually competent and enjoyable to watch. What makes it work, at least 100 times more than the CW or Snyderverse Flash, is that he isn't overpowered as fuck from day one. Like, this is presumably Flash in his prime. If he has a museum about him and is a member of the Justice League, and he can't even go that fast, you can actually see him running in real time. He isn't going so fast that he's essentially teleporting, and it looks like he has to actually build up speed if he wants to go faster. He ain't capable of going his top speed on a dime. And the cherry on top? No instant win moves are demonstrated that completely break the stakes. Sure, he fails to react to some dreidels slowly moving towards him that he knows are weapons used by the top, and he stops to quip once, but these moments don't come at the expense of the scene. This Flash gets straight to business after he's knocked down and finishes talking. And the way Flash is apprehended? One of Boomerang's boomerangs secretly contained compressed flex glue and exploded right in front of him. Flash doesn't lose the fight because he stopped to watch, not because he got an injury he should have been able to walk or heal off, not because he stopped to listen to a monologue, and not because he decided to tell the bad guys they're actually good guys deep down. Mwah. Once the Rogues and Zoom are arrested, Barry runs off, transitioning into the title card. Immediately after, he wakes up in the alternate timeline, Flashpoint.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
So Barry assumes Zoom is the one who time traveled and changed the past, because to his surprise, he no longer has super speed, probably because his mom is alive now and that didn't put him on the path to the accident. And he's gay.
He's gay, but he has a special connection to Fuck.
Everything's different, including the Justice League members and their personalities. So how about this version of Batman, eh? He's not Bruce Wayne, rather Pappy Wayne, who became nihilist anti-hero Batman because his son took the bullet that fateful night, and Martha became the Joker as a result. Would he be the type to beat up and torture someone who's simply looking for him? Well, he does, except this Batman actually has a reason to attack Barry. Barry went looking for him in the Batcave. He knows how to get in there, so to this Batman, his secret identity identity is compromised by someone he doesn't trust. Combo that up with Barry repeating his dead son's name, and there you go. Alan receives a fisting that makes sense with this Batman. Barry wasn't spotted in his fucking kitchen, a place that is not at all incriminating, nor was this Batman trying to fucking cut him open. He actually interrogates Barry, he doesn't stay silent for no reason. And what gets Batman to stop roughing up Barry? Barry feeds him new information. He's not repeating something Batman already knows. It's all very simple cause and effect, and somehow the $200 million movie couldn't manage it. To my surprise, Flashpoint also has a sequence where Batman helps Barry regain his powers by recreating the accident. This one's setup is done much better by having the chemicals right next to Barry as opposed to off to the side. Still a bit silly for my taste, and the lightning conveniently lasts a long time, because the bottles don't explode until the very last second. At least the second attempt actually worked, and after Batman checks his vitals, Barry immediately attempts to time travel to undo this reality, because the implication is that timelines get overwritten when the past is changed, so no point in sticking around and trying to stop World War III, thankfully. However, Barry cannot go fast enough to break the time barrier, which we'll get into in a bit, and he infers the reason is because Zoom is out there co-opting the Speed Force and preventing him from accessing the energy he needs to go faster. The only one who could time travel without requiring the Speed Force is Superman, who in this timeline landed in Metropolis in a meteor and was confiscated by the government. So, what is this Batman's reaction to a skinny, malnourished, so-called Superman?
Is that Clark? This is the most powerful being on the planet?
Notice how he doesn't immediately walk away after confidently denying the possibility of this being Superman, someone he's never seen before. And this is nihilistic, pessimistic Batman. If anyone is gonna be an asshole and leave, it would be him, not the one who successfully ended crime in his city. Actually, he does suggest leaving Clark behind on their way out.
We should have left him where he was.
But not because he thinks this isn't who they're looking for, but because
He'd be safer.
He'd be safer. This Batman, overly brooding and cynical Batman, is actually showing a modicum of empathy towards someone who desperately needs help. Zoom finally reveals himself during the last act of the movie, and we come to the time travel explanation. Barry is actually the one who changed everything, off screen after the Flash Museum scene. He doesn't remember doing this until Zoom teases him about possibly doing a certain good deed, and once it hits Barry, he claims that saving his mom wouldn't have changed so many external things, especially not before her death. Zoom explains that when the correct speed is achieved, a time boom is created, similar to a sonic boom.
Ripples of distortion radiated out through that point of impact, shifting everything just a tiny bit, but enough. Enough for events to happen slightly different.
None of this you create a fulcrum bullshit. None of that you place yourself on a whole new strand of spaghetti nonsense. The timeline is simply overwritten, which explains why Barry no longer has powers once he comes to in the new timeline. And this conversation is wrapped up with what is and will always be my favorite moment in all of Flash history.
Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend, and you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch!
I've seen someone on TikTok claim this scene is a case of the Mandela effect, but no, this is what really happened in 2013. Any other dialogue is a doctored version. Batman shoots Zoom in the fucking head, and now that Barry has complete access to the Speed Force, he stops himself from saving his mom. And more importantly, he doesn't do anything extra that would defeat the purpose of what he's trying to accomplish. So yeah, I thought bringing up these similarities might have made for an interesting Shortman video. It's kind of insane how one 80-minute movie made me actually like Flash as a character, whereas a 9-season show and a 2-hour and 20-minute movie failed to do so. Even with the very brief time they had on screen in the opening, the Justice League had me rooting for them. And the time travel mechanics ain't perfect, there's a big plot hole I thought of, and not getting into the nitty-gritty leaves it up to the audience to make assumptions, but I won't be getting into that here. I'm just glad it's simply due to wonky fictitious rules and not character choices. At least the final act doesn't revolve around using time travel over and over again, ultimately backfiring on itself. Also, I kinda like how Flash's suit is slightly different in the corrected timeline, implying that despite putting things back to the way they were, minor discrepancies can still occur. Season 3 did this if you recall, which I thought was kind of neat, and then they had Barry learn the wrong fucking lesson from this so that Enter Flash time could last longer. Anyway, that's enough jerking off this subject. For now.